Part 1, The Final Insult. The Humiliation Chamber. Colonel Marcus Webb straightened his uniform as he walked through the pristine corridors of the Galactic Council station. The walls gleamed with alien technology that humanity could only dream of accessing. For 12 years, he had made this same walk, carrying humanity's hopes and petitions to beings who saw his species as little more than clever animals. Today felt different. The weight in his chest told him something was about to change forever. Another rejection awaits. The council chamber doors slid open with a soft hiss. 3 massive beings sat on elevated platforms, looking down at the small human who dared to enter their presence. Vextari the Eternal, a crystalline being whose body pulsed with inner light, barely acknowledged Marcus's arrival. Beside him, Thrakenar of the Iron Claws, a massive reptilian creature with scales like armor plates, let out a low growl of annoyance. Above them both floated Zephylos the Mindweaver, a creature of pure psychic energy wrapped in flowing robes. Marcus had practiced his speech for weeks. Humanity needed access to the quantum healing technology. The plague ravaging the outer colonies had already claimed 3 million lives. Children were dying while these beings debated whether humans deserved to live. The petition that changed everything. Honored Council, Marcus began, his voice steady despite the fear crawling up his spine. I come before you again to request access to quantum healing protocols. Our people are dying from a disease that your technology could cure in days. Vextari's crystalline form flickered with what might have been amusement. Human creature speaks again of death and suffering. Why should the council concern itself with the brief lives of your kind? Marcus felt his jaw tighten. Because we are sentient beings. Because our children deserve to live. Because helping others is what civilized species do. Thrakenar's massive head tilted, yellow eyes gleaming with cruel humor. Civilized? You wage wars among yourselves. You poison your own world. You multiply like parasites across the galaxy. What civilization do you offer? The breaking point. We offer partnership, Marcus replied, fighting to keep his voice level. We offer our labor, our loyalty, our commitment to peace. We've followed every protocol, paid every tribute, accepted every restriction you've placed on us. We ask only for the chance to save our dying. Zephylos finally spoke, his mental voice echoing directly in Marcus's mind. The humans grow bold. Perhaps they forget their place in the natural order. The weak serve the strong. The primitive bow to the advanced. This is cosmic law. Marcus's hands clenched into fists at his sides. 47 times he had stood in this chamber. 47 times he had begged for basic rights, for medicine, for trade agreements, for the simple recognition that humans were people. And 47 times he had been dismissed like a child asking adults for candy. The final straw. Your petition is denied, Vextari announced with casual cruelty. Furthermore, humans will surrender the mining rights on Kepler 442b to the Vortak Consortium. Your species has proven inadequate stewards of galactic resources. Marcus felt something break inside his chest. Kepler 442b was humanity's most successful colony. 200,000 people called it home. They had terraformed it with their own blood and sweat, turning a dead rock into a garden world. And now these beings would simply take it away. You can't, Marcus whispered, then louder, you can't just steal our world. Thrakenar laughed, a sound like grinding stone. Steal? We take what we need from inferiors. This is how the galaxy works, little human. Accept your place or be crushed. The promise made. Marcus looked up at the 3 beings who held his species' fate in their alien hands. For the first time in 12 years of diplomatic service, he spoke from his heart instead of his training. No, he said quietly. We won't accept this anymore. The council members exchanged glances that might have been surprise. Humans didn't say no. Humans begged and pleaded and accepted whatever scraps they were given. What did you say? Zephylos's mental voice carried a dangerous edge. Marcus straightened to his full height, military bearing replacing diplomatic submission. I said no. We're done begging. We're done accepting your cruelty as natural law. We're done pretending you're better than us just because you're older. He turned toward the door, then looked back over his shoulder. You've just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. You taught humanity that peaceful coexistence is impossible. Now we'll show you what we learned from all those wars you love to judge us for. As the chamber doors closed behind him, Marcus Webb began planning humanity's response to 47 years of humiliation. Part 2, The Underground Network. The Hidden Laboratory. Dr. Helena Cross descended through 17 levels of reinforced concrete and steel, each checkpoint scanning her DNA, retinal patterns, and brainwaves. The New Geneva colony looked like a peaceful farming settlement from above, but beneath its green fields lay humanity's greatest secret. For 15 years, while diplomats begged and politicians made speeches, the real work had been happening in the shadows. The elevator doors opened to reveal a vast underground complex stretching beyond sight. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and technicians worked in sterile white laboratories, their faces illuminated by the glow of alien technology that officially didn't exist. Helena had built this place one stolen component at a time, one recruited genius at a time, one impossible breakthrough at a time. The forbidden knowledge. Status report, Helena demanded as she strode through the main corridor. Her assistant, a young physicist named Derek Huang, fell into step beside her, tablet in hand. Project Prometheus is ahead of schedule, Derek reported, his voice barely containing his excitement. We've successfully reverse-engineered the Vortac shield generators. The quantum resonance patterns were more complex than we thought, but Dr. Patel's team cracked the encryption last week. Helena smiled grimly. The Vortac had been selling their impenetrable shields to other species for centuries while denying humans access to even basic defensive technology. They claimed human minds were too primitive to understand quantum mechanics. Those same primitive minds had just solved equations that Vortac scientists considered impossible. The breakthrough moment. They entered Laboratory 7, where a team of engineers clustered around a sleek device that hummed with barely contained energy. Helena recognized the design immediately. It was based on Zephyrian power cores, the same technology that powered their floating cities and reality-warping abilities. We did it, Doc, announced Chief Engineer Patricia Voss, wiping grease from her hands. Full quantum entanglement achieved. We can now generate the same energy fields that the Zephyrians use, but we've improved the efficiency by 30%. Helena stared at the device that represented decades of careful theft and brilliant innovation. Every component had been acquired through diplomatic gifts, trade samples, or simple sleight of hand during council meetings. Every alien technology that had been denied to humanity had somehow found its way into human hands through determination and careful planning. The network reveals itself. There's more, Derek continued, leading her deeper into the facility. We've made contact with the other sites. Project Icarus in the Centauri system has perfected faster-than-light communication without quantum gates. Project Pandora on Mars has weaponized dark matter manipulation. Helena's breath caught. She had suspected other sites existed, but she had never imagined the scope. How many? She whispered. 47 facilities across human space, Derek replied. One for every petition Colonel Webb has filed with the Galactic Council. Turns out we weren't the only ones who got tired of being told we were too stupid to survive. They entered a communication chamber where holographic displays showed sites across the galaxy. Scientists on Europa waved from their ice-covered laboratories. Engineers in the Proxima Centauri system demonstrated gravity manipulation devices. Researchers in the Outer Rim colonies had apparently learned to bend spacetime itself. The coordination begins. Ladies and gentlemen, Helena announced into the communication array, her voice reaching every hidden facility simultaneously. Colonel Webb just sent us the signal. Operation Awakening is now active. The response was immediate and overwhelming. 46 other facilities began transmitting readiness reports. Technologies that shouldn't exist started coming online. Weapons that galactic law forbade humans from possessing began charging their power cells. Ships that used impossible propulsion systems started warming their engines. Dr. Miranda Torres from the Titan facility appeared on the main screen, her face excited and terrified. "Helena, are we really doing this? Once we reveal ourselves, there's no going back. The Council will see us as a threat to galactic order." Helena looked around at the assembled scientists and engineers, the brightest minds humanity had produced, working in secret to ensure their species' survival. "They already see us as a threat, Miranda. The only difference is that now we're going to prove them right." The moment of truth. She activated the main display, showing the locations of all 47 hidden facilities. Red dots appeared across the galaxy, each one representing humanity's determination to survive and thrive despite alien oppression. The network they had built in shadow was larger and more sophisticated than anything the Galactic Council imagined possible. "For too long, we've let them define what we are," Helena continued. "They called us primitive, so we learned their science. They called us weak, so we built strength they couldn't see. They called us inferior, so we became superior in ways they'll never understand." The transmission screens filled with determined faces, humans who had worked in secret, humans who had sacrificed everything for this moment, humans who were ready to change the galaxy forever. Patricia Voss looked up from her control panel, eyes blazing with fierce pride. "All systems are synchronized, document. Every facility is ready. We're about to show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate the human spirit." Helena nodded slowly. The time for hiding was over. The time for begging was finished. The time for humanity to take its rightful place among the stars had finally arrived. "Initiate the awakening protocol," she commanded. "Let them see what we've really been doing for the past 15 years. Part 3, The Silent Preparation. The War Room. General Nathan Pierce stood before a holographic display that showed the entire galaxy in three-dimensional detail. Red markers indicated Galactic Council strongholds, blue dots marked human colonies, and green symbols represented the network of hidden facilities that Dr. Cross had just revealed. After 30 years of military service, Nathan had learned to read the strategic landscape like a book, and this book was about to have its final chapter written in fire. The command center buzzed with activity as officers analyzed intelligence reports that had been gathering dust in classified archives. For decades, humanity had been studying their oppressors, learning their weaknesses, mapping their supply lines, and identifying their critical vulnerabilities. What the Council saw as harmless diplomatic visits had actually been reconnaissance missions. The intelligence goldmine. "Sir, the data from Colonel Webb's years of Council meetings is remarkable," reported Major Lisa Chen, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. "We have detailed scans of their defense systems, complete personnel rosters, and even psychological profiles of key decision-makers." Nathan smiled coldly. Every humiliating meeting, every rejected petition, every condescending dismissal had been recorded and analyzed. The aliens had been so confident in their superiority that they never bothered to shield their secrets from the primitive humans in their midst. "Show me the Vortac mining operation on Kepler 442b, Nathan ordered. The display shifted to show his target. The Vortac had moved quickly after the Council's decision, sending a fleet of harvesting ships to claim humanity's garden world. They expected no resistance from the humans they had displaced. They were about to learn how wrong assumptions could be. The Hidden Fleet. Commander Robert Singh materialized on the communication array, broadcasting from the bridge of humanity's first stealth dreadnought. "General, the Shadow Fleet is in position. 75 ships running silent, completely invisible to their sensors." Nathan felt a surge of pride. While the galaxy believed humans were limited to slow, primitive vessels, the Shadow Fleet had been secretly constructed using technology stolen from a dozen different species. These ships could outrun anything in the Council's navy and hit harder than weapons 3 times their size. How long before we can move on Kepler 442b? Nathan asked. The Vortak fleet is spread thin, Singh replied. They're so confident that humans won't fight back that they've left only minimal defenses. We could liberate the planet in 6 hours and be gone before they know what hit them. Nathan nodded approvingly. The Vortak were about to discover that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. The psychological warfare. Captain Jennifer Walsh appeared on another screen, transmitting from the intelligence ship that had been monitoring Galactic Council communications. General, we've been analyzing their reaction to Colonel Webb's defiance. The Council is treating it as an amusing tantrum rather than a serious threat. Perfect, Nathan replied. Arrogance has always been their weakness. What about their military response? They've issued a standard containment order, Walsh reported. They expect local forces to handle any human uprising within days. They're not mobilizing their main fleets or calling in reinforcements. They think we're no more dangerous than an insect buzzing around their heads. Nathan exchanged glances with his senior staff. The aliens' casual dismissal of humanity's threat was exactly what they had hoped for. While the Council debated whether humans deserved to exist, humanity had been preparing for war on a scale that would reshape the galaxy. The final preparations. Status report on Project Retribution, Nathan demanded. Colonel David Park stepped forward, his expression grim and determined. All 57 target sites have been identified and marked. We can simultaneously strike every major Council facility, military installation, and supply depot in human space. The aliens will lose their ability to project power in our region within hours. Nathan studied the tactical display showing dozens of red targets scattered across multiple star systems. Each target represented years of careful planning and intelligence gathering. Each strike would be precisely timed to maximum effect while minimizing human casualties. And the broader strategy? Nathan asked. Phase 1 isolates human space from Council control, Park continued. Phase 2 demonstrates our new capabilities through targeted strikes on Council military assets. Phase 3 offers them a choice, negotiate as equals or face a war they can't win. The moment of decision. General Pierce looked around the command center at the faces of men and women who had dedicated their lives to this moment. They had watched their species be humiliated, dismissed, and oppressed for generations. They had seen human children denied education, human worlds stolen, human lives treated as expendable. Now they finally had the power to change everything. Gentlemen, ladies, Nathan announced to the assembled officers, in 1 hour, we're going to remind the galaxy why humans were once the most feared warriors on Earth. We're going to show them what happens when a species that survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars finally decides to stop being polite. He activated the fleet-wide communication system, his voice reaching every human military unit across the galaxy. This is General Pierce to all units. Operation Prometheus is now active. Repeat, Operation Prometheus is now active. The age of human submission ends today. The response was immediate, acknowledgments from ship commanders, ground forces, and special operations teams that had been waiting in the shadows for decades. Humanity's hidden military might was about to reveal itself in spectacular fashion. Nathan Pierce looked at the galaxy map one final time, seeing not the territories of alien oppressors but the future domain of a species that refused to kneel. The Council had taught humanity that only strength mattered in the cosmos. Now they were about to learn that lesson themselves. Part 4, The Revelation. The Deep Space Discovery. Captain Rosa Martinez guided her reconnaissance ship through the debris field that had once been the Vortak mining station orbiting Kepler 442b. The Shadow Fleet's first strike had been devastatingly effective, 72 alien ships destroyed in minutes, the planet's human population safe, and not a single human casualty. But as Rosa studied the wreckage, she realized they had stumbled onto something far more significant than a military victory. "Captain, you need to see this," called out Lieutenant Commander Paul Reeves from the sensor station. His voice carried a strange mixture of excitement and disbelief. Rosa floated over to his position, noting the unusual readings on his display. "What am I looking at, Paul?" "The Vortak Command Ship's database," Reeves replied. "It was heavily encrypted, but our new quantum decryption system cracked it in minutes." "Captain, this isn't just intelligence about their military operations. This is everything. The hidden truth." The main screen filled with translated alien text, technical specifications, and what appeared to be historical records spanning thousands of years. Rosa's breath caught as she read the first few entries. The Galactic Council's official history was a lie. "My God," whispered Chief Science Officer Amanda Foster as she analyzed the data streams. "According to these records, humans aren't the first species they've suppressed. There were others, entire civilizations that were declared inferior and systematically eliminated or enslaved." Rosa scrolled through the files, each entry more disturbing than the last. The Veltar had been master engineers whose technology rivaled anything in the galaxy, until the Council decided they were too ambitious. The Quindari had developed faster-than-light travel independently, until the Council claimed they were too dangerous. The Morhexians had created art and literature that inspired species across the galaxy, until the Council declared them culturally primitive. The pattern emerges. It's a pattern, Rosa realized, her voice barely a whisper. They don't just oppress inferior species. They create inferior species. Any civilization that shows signs of independence or advancement gets labeled as primitive and crushed before they can challenge Council authority. Lieutenant Reeves brought up another section of the database. "Captain, look at this. There are references to something called the Stability Protocol. It appears to be a systematic plan to prevent any species from achieving technological or social parity with the Council races." The implications hit Rosa like a physical blow. Humanity's treatment wasn't cruel indifference, it was deliberate policy. The Council had been carefully managing human development, allowing just enough progress to be useful while preventing any real advancement that might threaten their dominance. The scope of deception. "There's more," Amanda announced, her face pale with shock. "These files contain technical specifications for technologies that officially don't exist. Quantum consciousness transfer, reality manipulation engines, time-space folding drives. The Council has been hiding capabilities that could revolutionize the galaxy." Rosa studied the technical readouts with growing amazement. The Council possessed technology that could eliminate scarcity, cure any disease, and allow instant travel between star systems. Instead of sharing these advances with the galaxy, they hoarded them to maintain their position of absolute power. "Why?" Rosa asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "Control," Amanda replied grimly. "If every species had access to this technology, there would be no need for the Galactic Council. They've built their entire civilization on artificial scarcity and manufactured dependency. The greatest discovery." As they delved deeper into the files, Rosa discovered something that changed everything. Hidden in the deepest layers of encrypted data was a section labeled Species Evaluation Protocols. Her hands trembled as she accessed the files. "Paul, Amanda, you need to see this," she called out, her voice barely steady. The screen displayed a comprehensive analysis of human capabilities written by Council scientists. Rosa read aloud, "Human adaptability quotient exceeds all known species by 347%. Innovative capacity rates at the 99th percentile. Military strategic thinking surpasses current Council military doctrine in 78% of scenarios tested. Technological advancement rate, if unrestricted, projected to exceed Council capabilities within 200 standard years." The revelation hit the bridge crew like a thunderbolt. The Galactic Council didn't suppress humanity because they were inferior, they suppressed humanity because they were superior. The final piece. There's a final entry, Amanda said quietly. It's from Vextari himself, dated just last week. Rosa read the crystalline being's private notes with growing amazement. Human defiance in council chambers exceeded all behavioral predictions. Recommend immediate implementation of Extinction Protocol 7. This species cannot be controlled indefinitely. Their independence mindset and technological aptitude make them an existential threat to council authority. Elimination must appear natural to prevent other species from suspecting the truth. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. The council hadn't just planned to steal human worlds, they had planned to eliminate humanity entirely. The message sent. Rosa activated the fleet-wide communication system, knowing that this information would change everything. This is Captain Martinez to all human forces. We have just discovered the truth about our place in the galaxy. We are not the inferiors they claimed we were. We are the greatest threat they have ever faced. She transmitted the database files to every human ship, colony, and hidden facility across the galaxy. Within minutes, the truth would spread through humanity like wildfire. The Galactic Council has spent centuries suppressing species that showed potential, Rosa continued. They destroyed civilizations, enslaved entire worlds, and hoarded technology that could benefit everyone. They planned to do the same to us, but they made one crucial mistake. She looked at her crew, seeing the same fierce determination in their eyes that she felt in her heart. They taught us that only strength matters in this galaxy. They showed us that morality is weakness and mercy is foolishness. They demonstrated that the strong take what they want from the weak. Well, congratulations to them, we learned those lessons very well. Now they're about to discover what happens when the strongest species in the galaxy stops pretending to be weak. The message reached General Pierce's command center just as humanity's hidden fleets began emerging from the shadows across the galaxy. The revelation would fuel their righteous anger and justify everything that was about to happen. The Council had created their own nemesis, and now they would face the consequences of their cruelty.